Good evening, everyone. Vloggy Poncho here. Today is Friday, March 8th, the last day of school before spring break, and I'm already done with my school day. Weighing in at 181 pounds, and goal progress is not much is happening here. Our month of purification is going spectacularly well. I had a little bit of tea in the first week to kind of wean myself from the caffeine. But I've drank nothing but water for probably a week now. It's been quite a bit. I think we're about a little more than halfway through the month now, and it's been going very well. Avoided caffeine pretty much completely. The beginning is a little bit there. Haven't had any alcohol at all. That's been absolutely none. And then what else did we quit? I don't even remember. Not a drop of hot sauce, which I'm thoroughly impressed with. And it's gotten to the point now where I don't even miss it, although I definitely will eat it again at the end of the month. And then getting up early has been, I'll say, relatively successful, moderate success. It was hampered by an event which occurred the other night. I had gotten into the routine well enough that I was going to bed at about 11 o'clock at night, which is about 2 hours earlier than I had been going to bed, So I went and got in bed at 11, not last night, but the one before, so this would be Wednesday night. I got in bed at 11, I went to sleep fairly easily because I was tired. I hadn't gotten up at 7 o'clock that morning and had a long day, and I went and exercised. I had soccer class that day, so I'll tell you that story about soccer class another day because it deserves its own video. Excuse me. I'm all phlegmy from the cold air. So, I got to bed at 11. And I wake up and the fire alarm is going off. And I just, oh man, why? Just glad I didn't have any tests or anything that day. So I wake up and the fire alarm is going off, and I'm just like, okay, this sucks. So I get up, put my feet into my shoes. I guess I put some jeans on, put my feet into my boots, put my jacket on, no shirt, just my jacket on, and grabbed my keys and trumped it outside. But by the time from when the alarm went off to when I made it out the door of the dorm, it was probably a minute. I got dressed and out of there really quickly. And then I got outside and realized it's not a real fire. It's a college dorm. Somebody's trying to bake cookies and burnt the shit out of them. Somebody's smoking. Somebody lit a candle wrong and put too much smoke out. Like, it's like the dorm is not on fire. The odds of the dorm being on fire are, granted, larger than in a single-family home, probably. I don't even know if that's true, although stereotypically the urban legend is that the dorm is going to burn down. But the odds of the alarm being a false one are probably 1,000 times that of it being a real fire. So every time the alarm goes off, the response is supposed to be, oh, it's a real fire, I got to get the hell out of here before I get burnt. But really, if I woke up and was armed with the knowledge that it was indeed a real fire, I would probably take longer to get out. Because I would be taking shit with me. Like, who doesn't? Who wouldn't? I mean, that's what they always say. They say, oh, don't stop to try and take things with you. You'll get trapped by the fire and you'll die. Don't go back in and try and save the dog, Don't be a hero. Once you're out, you gotta stay out. Go to the safe area. Meet your family at the safe area. You gotta have a meeting spot planned in advance. And, no. That's stupid. I mean, if there's a fire in the building, I can take, 30 seconds. I was trying to think about this, actually. What would I take if I were going to take, stuff out of here? And I couldn't really decide what it would be. Which means I wouldn't have been able to decide if I had known it was a real fire. One of the things I would consider taking would be take my computer, which seems a little bit weird. Like, how can you take the whole computer? I would just take the tower. All the peripherals are replaceable, but the information on that tower is important. That's something that I wouldn't be able to replicate. So I would just unplug everything from the back and just carry it out with me. That would take 30 seconds, and no problem. Or I could take my fire safe, which has official documents and things in it. I could take that if I wanted. But, I mean, it's just old receipts and tax forms and shit. It can burn if it wants. And it's a fire safe, right? It's supposed to be safe if I leave it in the fire, so I might as well leave it here. So this is the whole point of the story is to say that I got outside and stood out there for about 20 minutes in the cold while the idiots that are in charge of this dorm tried to figure out where's the fire alarm going. I hear a noise. That's what the guy behind the desk was like all the time. At least in the middle of the night when they have somebody sitting at the front desk all night long. And if you go down there at 3 in the morning, they're sitting at the desk. They got their feet up on the desk, and they're just like making this face. And they got that laptop here, like playing like old episodes of Doctor Who. And they're just sitting there. So that's who was in charge of orchestrating the firefighters and everybody once they arrived. And it's just stupid. You can't expect a lot, to be frank. Anyway, so after that went off, I set my alarm for an hour later, and it totally balls up my getting up early routine. So I ended up getting up at 8 o'clock yesterday, and I didn't roll out of bed today until 8:30 just because I was so beat-ass tired. These past couple weeks have taken a lot out of me. It's midterms week, getting a whole bunch of stuff together. But they have been very productive weeks. So the other thing I teased about in yesterday's video was that I got a job! Yes! I don't know if this was actually a goal that we made, but it should have been a goal, because I did it now, right? So I'm not going to mark it off as a done goal. I'm super excited. I'm going to be working for General Motors on the back end of their information technologies department, just nearby here. And I'm going to be an associate code developer. I'm going to be a programmer. So it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to be able to use my degree. I'm making a pretty good salary for someone who's just out of college. I'm graduating without any debt, by the way, because I have a good scholarship that I'm on here. So I'm going to be in a good financial situation. The area is close enough to Maple, it's close enough to my parents, that I can, visit them regularly. But it's far enough away that I can sort of start my own independent establishment. I can have my fort. I can have my man fort. And let me tell you, I am so excited for the potential in the man fort. This is going to be something that we are going to enjoy together, I think, as a vloggy kind of series. Because I'm going to need to get an apartment. And I'm probably going to rent for a bit, just because I don't have the funds yet to start looking at buying a house. It's a bit in the future for me. I need to save up some money first, which will be easier now that I have a job. Yes. Okay, so just as a side note here, in my life, I have had a very poor record for interviewing for things. In as much as I can recall, I have interviewed for either 6 or 7 things. I mean, real interviews where I had to be prepared and think about questions in advance. 6 or 7 times. And I have gotten the thing one time. I mean, this is it. This is the only one. I would count my first interview when I worked at summer camp, but that wasn't really an interview. That was just sort of the last step in making sure that you're not totally bonkers and that you're actually serious about getting the job if you're willing to show up and talk to the boss for 10 minutes. So I'm not even going to count that as a real interview. Plus, I was 13 or 14 at the time. So anyway, but everything I've ever interviewed for, scholarship, the Governor's Honors Program, a previous job 2 years ago, and I could think of a couple more the other day, but now I can't remember. And then my job for GM. So out of all of those, I've gotten none of them except for the most recent one, and it's been the most important, to be quite frank. So I'm super pleased. I think I executed well. I'll speak in another video about the whole process of how I got my job, because I think that it's a good illustration of the attitude that you have to get employed, and what it is that you need to do. And of course, I'm no expert on the matter, having only been hired once. Hopefully, I mean, how many times am I going to need to be hired? Probably only a few times. Probably not just once. Probably only a few times. So I don't really know who would be an expert. I mean, okay, this is a side note on the side note now. How could you consider someone an expert on being hired if they've been hired 100 times for 100 different jobs? Wouldn't that just mean that they were really good at getting fired too? Anyway, so I got the job, and now I have to find an apartment. I'm going to be living in Roswell, Georgia, which is going to be cool. So that's gonna be nice. But I have some friends who are from there and tell me it's a great place to live. And there are apartments within 5 or 10 minutes of my work where it's gonna be. So I am stoked. I just need to find a good apartment complex to live in, and at some point that means I have to go to Roswell. So I might bring you guys with me for that. That would be fun. Go looking for apartments. And then once I have one, so many things are going to change. So many things are going to change. It's going to turn my life upside down, to be quite frank. Nothing, the consequences will never be the same. So, a few big things come to mind immediately. I'm going to be away from everybody. And it's so much more than going from high school to college. In terms of being alone, being away from everyone. Because when you go from high school to college, you know some classmates who are going to be there. You know you're going to have a roommate. You're going to have classes with people. You're going to have hall mates and dorm mates. And there's tons of people that you're going to interact with. It's sort of pretty much guaranteed that you will find somebody that you like and you can be friends with. Not the case when you move to a new town, a new area. This is sort of, for me, the first real, I'm moving. This has only just occurred to me. I'm moving in a couple months. I'm moving out of my dorm and I'm going to be moving into an apartment in another city, where I know only a couple people who live there, but they go to school here. So they're here. They're not in Roswell. So, and that's the first thing, is that I'm going to meet a bunch of new people at my job. And I think 300 people in this center I'm working in are going to be new hires. So there's going to be a lot of Georgia Tech grads there, probably a few Georgia grads. So there'll be people my age, and I'll be able to make a network, I think, fairly rapidly if I'm, a friendly, outgoing person like I'm completely not. It's not my nature to be outgoing. I am friendly if you talk to me, but I'm not outgoing, to say the least. I like to be quiet, which is not at all displayed in my video making, because if I were quiet, it would be really boring. Anyway. So that's the first thing. New people, new place, new people. So I guess that category would be new people. Now it's going to be new place. I'm not going to be living in this dorm. I've been living in the same dorm all through college. On the freshman year, I lived down one floor below here, a few rooms down. Sophomore year, I moved down 2 rooms. Junior and senior year, I've been in this room. So I've lived on the top half of the south half of one dorm for 4 years. So that I've essentially lived here in this one place for 4 years, and now I'm moving. I'm going to have an apartment. So this has so many implications. The first and most exciting of which is that I will no longer have to share a toilet with 14 other guys. Hallelujah! 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 I can't even. That's so exciting. That's a thrill for me. Just thinking about that. The sweet, clean porcelain, the shine of a freshly scrubbed latrine. It's just my personal throne. I'm getting way too excited about this toilet. So, new place. My own place. It's not just the bathroom, the whole place. I'm going to try and get a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't want to have a roommate anymore. I've had a single dorm for 2 years. I've not had a roommate in this room for 2 years. And I do not want to go back to living with a roommate. Although it may be more affordable, I would not. I don't want it. At this point, I have gotten to a stage where I'm independent enough that I would refuse to be dependent on someone else, to have that half of the rent split. So I'll just find a smaller place and be by myself. That would be what I prefer. So it's going to be just my place. The man fort. I'm going to start calling it a man fort. I'm 21 and a half. I'm a man now. I'm going to start using it like I mean it. So, my own place. And the implications are huge. I'm going to have my own, I'm going to own things. That's the first thing that's just striking. I'm going to own, furniture. I'm going to own furniture. I'm going to own a couch. My parents are giving me the other half of this couch, which is actually the bigger half. Woo! So I'm going to have 5 seats. I'm going to be by myself and have 5 places to sit just on my couch. That's not even counting, the kitchen, where there's probably going to be a stool, or maybe a table. I can sit on the bed, and I can sit on the toilet. So I'm counting like 8 places to sit in this house, just for me. This apartment, just for me. This is the weirdest analysis of a new apartment. I'm gonna have my personal throne. I'm gonna have 8 places to sit. Oh, so I'm gonna own furniture. I'm gonna have my own place that I can organize as much as I like. Within the renter's agreement, I'm not gonna bang holes in the walls or knock a wall down or anything like that. But I'm gonna have a distinct freedom to design the place, decorate the place as I please. Art on the walls. It's not gonna be dorm posters anymore. I'm gonna buy frames for things. I'm gonna try and class it up. I'm gonna step up a level. I'm not gonna be a college student. I'm gonna be an independent young adult. And that's daunting in its own right. And then the third thing is my own food. And that's the third big thing that's slipping over here, like a. It makes you think of blitzball. Just that motion. I don't know why. Anyway, so I've been on the dining hall meal plan here at the University of Georgia for 4 years, and to be frank, I'm not trying to brag here, but the University of Georgia has, if not the best, top 5 best dining hall systems in the entire country. It is spectacular. In terms of public colleges, I think that would be a fair statement. It's really good. It's relatively pricey. It's certainly more expensive than buying groceries and cooking on your own. But it's, compared to dorm food, or rather to other colleges, their food, it's great. Compared to high school, it's cuisine. I mean, it's spectacular. The variety of things. I've even found a good number of vegetarian things to eat, so it's been great. But the biggest thing about it is that you don't have to cook. If you're on a meal plan, you just go and get food. You don't have to cook. You just pay in advance something like $15 a day to eat there, basically. And you don't have to cook, ever, if you don't want. Except for Sunday nights, but we always go out. Anyway, so now I have to cook on my own food. There's no meal plans for apartments. That's something that's purely a college notion. So, as an independent person and as a vegetarian, I'm going to have to figure out how grocery shopping works. Because, obviously, I know how it works. I can find the store and buy food and stuff, but that's the easy part. It's buying the right food. Buying food that I'll actually eat. Because I've heard people say, don't ever go grocery shopping when you're hungry. Because you'll buy all kinds of junk and then get up for the next, breakfast the next morning and be like, all I have is Doritos, what a nutritious breakfast. So I'm going to have to figure out how in the world, how much planning do I need to do? Do I need to write down, okay, here's a dozen meals I want to eat in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to buy all the stuff I need for these meals and then just make them when I feel like? Or do I just go without a plan? There's just a whole spectrum of extremes here. I could plan out the next month, every meal, or at least a blueprint that I could shuffle around later. Or I could not plan at all. Just go to the grocery store and be like, oh, cereal. I'll get some cereal. I like cereal, right? Milk. I'm definitely gonna want some milk for that cereal. I'm gonna get some milk. And then I end up with bread and nothing to put in between. Eggs and nothing to go with them. I'm just gonna have eggs, bread, and milk. And that'll be it. I'll subsist entirely off eggs, bread, and milk. So I'm going to have to figure out how that works. And shopping is only half the problem. Now, maybe only a third of the problem. Now I have to cook the food and then clean after. Again, and no cleaning at the dining halls either. You just throw the tray in the return and they take care of it. So I'm going to have to either, if a unit has a dishwasher, I'll learn to use it. That won't take long. Or I'll just be washing them myself, depending. But the cooking is that big middle phase where it's another one of these flips. I have to think about how to cook food. I've never really had much experience cooking. To be frank, most of the meals that I know how to cook are made in either a microwave or over a campfire. So, not going to be a campfire in the apartment, although hopefully will be a microwave. If there is now, I'll get one. So, I've got to figure out how to use the oven. I'm going to have to get used to using the toaster oven and all that stuff and just actually cooking things for myself. I'll try and make stir fry, and I'll try and make fajitas, and maybe I'll make a cake. And at some point, I know I want to have you guys involved with that. I want to have a cooking with Poncho every so often. It probably won't be a regular thing. It's just whenever I'm making something interesting, I'll bring the camera in and make a vlog. So that's where I'm facing right now in the future. So If you're still here, put a banana in the comments. Now I'm going to turn to the final stage of this hand motion. I have to do a video about, I want to do a video analyzing my own hand motions at some point, because I speak with my hands about as much as I speak with my mouth. Now I'm having to think about it. Just making me really self-conscious about where my hands are. Just gonna, I wish I had a podium, so I can just hold on to the podium. That's how you keep yourself from using your hands to talk when you're at a public speaking event. Just hold on to the podium. Final stage of this video is what's coming up immediately. So that's the future. That's 2.5 months from now or so. 10 weeks. It's exciting and terrifying, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again eventually when I have more things to say. So that's the future. Next week is spring break. Starting tomorrow, Saturday, is the first, I guess, technical first day of spring break. So I'm super excited about it. Maple and I are going to stay for a week at my parents' house, and I sincerely hope that I will be able to put up a video every single day that I'm there. I will not be making Angry Poncho videos because I won't have this computer and I won't have any of the recording equipment and the consoles and stuff. So I won't be making Angry Poncho videos next week, but I will be bringing this little camera with me, which is how I made the walking to class video. So I'll be bringing that with me, and we can try and make a video every day. That's what I'm saying. So be looking for videos next week, just like usual. The schedule might be a little bit different because I don't know if I'm going to need to upload at night. I'm going to edit on my laptop, so it might be a little bit weird as to when they go up. But hopefully, I can put up one a day and it won't be an issue. And tomorrow's I might even put up before I leave. So just be on the lookout for those. They're going to be interesting. It's going to be Maple and I going around with the camera, and I think she might even have agreed to let you guys meet her. So that'll be fun. I look forward to that if that indeed does transpire. I'd enjoy that. So I have a few things I want to do over the break. I guess we'll see when they happen. I'm not going to tease again. That's just rude. So, I'm super excited about the future of my life right now, and I feel like I'm headed in a great direction. And I'm in a good place right now. I'm very pleased with the whole result. Just the big plan of go to college, work hard. That's like my whole life has been building up to this. Sorry, I'm going to keep talking because this is just huge for me. It's like my whole life has been building up to this. When you're in middle school or even elementary school, it's like, okay, you got to study hard and be smart so you can, be that astronaut you want to be someday. You got to graduate from high school and all that. And then you get to high school and it's like, you got to get good grades so you can get into a good college. You got to get into a good college, man. And then I got into a good college, and then it's like, oh, you got to pick a good major. You got to pick the right major. You got to get good grades. You got to take the right classes. You got to prepare. You got to apply yourself. And I did that. And it's the whole goal is it's like, oh, you got to do all this stuff. You got to work hard and get the right major and get your honors graduation and all that so you can get a good job. I'm there. I got the job. It's like everything, every meaningful contribution to my future that I have made up to this day was for me to get to where I am. The sum of all my effort has now evaluated to this. And it's astounding. It's like, I don't have words for this. It's a really weird feeling where for so long it had been delayed gratification. Work hard, sweat it out now, because later on you're going to be glad you did because you're going to be reaping the benefits. And I've reached the point where the ratio of work to benefits starts to shift. Because when you think about it, when you're in college, it's pretty much all work and not a whole lot of benefit. You're probably even paying to be there. So the benefit is down here. It's just like a happiness benefit kind of thing. And then when you're retired, you're not working at all pretty much, but there's tons of benefits because you save up your money, you can spend more time with your family, you can read that book you've always wanted to read, learn a dead language, whatever. So I've hit the point where I'm starting to go from here to here. And that's hopefully what I'm going to see for the rest of my life, is this shift where it's less work. And I'm sure it'll go up a bit more. Like, I'm not expecting my first day of work to be the hardest. But I do expect that, I mean, it probably will be harder than this, like the 5th day of work, but just because I have to get used to it. But I've reached the point in my life where I'm starting to feel like this is it. My hard work is finally paying off. And I have worked so hard to get here. It's, okay, I'm gonna cry, oh my god. This is, yeah, I'm really happy with where I am and where I'm headed, so, you know, I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of all the people who helped me to get here, and it really sort of hit me the other day when that I had actually, it occurred to me that I had accomplished the goal that 9th grade me, and even before that, had set out to do, which was to get to this place where I would be an independent, adult contributing to society, a part of the system of America. I sort of realized that I'd gotten to the first big goal in my life when my dad said he was really proud of me, and even at 21, it means so much. I was not planning to cry when I made this video, started this video. What I'm saying is, when you're 12 years old and you win like the Pinewood Derby, yeah, or like you get that one merit badge in Boy Scouts or whatever, and your parents say, "Oh, we're proud of you. You worked hard for this merit badge. You got it." You're like, "Oh, okay, thanks. I did work hard. But it wasn't that much. It wasn't that hard." And, I have worked that hard, actually, now, and so it means a lot. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.